Good morning, guys. My name is Nelson South. This morning we're going to talk about Topic Skills Prac Unit Code UEECD0009, which is carry out routine work activities in an energy sector environment. Now, as discussed in the classroom, and will continue to be discussed in the classroom, we're going to move over to the Prac section on this particular booklet. And we're going to move over to Topic Skills Prac 5.3. 5.3 is to undertake routine electrotechnology work activities in a work environment. Now, this particular task requires us to plan the skills practice, source the materials for the skills practice, and then to install the materials as per the descriptions in the skills task 5.3. So our first task, which is listed as Topic Skills Prac 1.4.1, and I'll read this out. Electrotechnology task is to fix a Clipsal 449A mounting block and a Clipsal 25 series double power point on a timber-like block using battery drill, Phillips head screws, and it requires us to create a material list using the template provided below, which is a table giving you the item number, the item description, and the quantity of each particular item that you need to complete this task. And the distance between the mounting blocks will be advised by myself. So for this particular process, we'll have 400 millimeters between centers of the mounting blocks. And to source the materials, if you don't know what they are already, with the numbers already given, which is the Clipsal 449A mounting block and the Clipsal 25 series PowerPoint, well then please use your trade catalogues which are in the classroom. Okay, so now we've got to source our materials first. So to source our materials, we need to go to the materials store. So we'll just zoom round to the materials store and I'll show you where that is. As you can see over there now, you'll see the materials store. There's actually the plastic trays and also the door opening. And I'll go over into that door opening now, and in the shelves in that door opening is where I'll source some of the mounting blocks. So I'm going over there now. And as you can see there, I'm going into the store here. In the store here, I'm going to get the Clipsal 449A mounting blocks. There's two mounting blocks. These have already been reused or been used by others, but it's okay to use them again. This is all part of the reuse and renewable policy that we have at the school here, and it is to reuse whatever we can, as long as it doesn't deteriorate the quality of the actual topic skills practice which we're trying to undertake. Our second option here is to get a double PowerPoint. Now we're going to have to zoom around a little bit for that. So I'll just come back to the camera and I'll zoom around a bit. And our double PowerPoint will be on the plastic shelves here. So as you can see here, it'll be on the plastic shelves here. So I'm going to source a Clipsal 25 series double PowerPoint. Be careful when you pull that out because it's pretty well stocked. So we just make sure we don't actually break anything. That's a Clipsal 25 series PowerPoint, which is this one here. And we'll also use a C, sorry, a 2000 series PowerPoint. It looks exactly the same, to this little plastic cover which comes off, like so. So we've got these pieces of material. So we'll move back to the prac now, to the prac bench. So we'll zoom back around again. Okay, so we're going back to the prac bench now. Okay, so here I've got, on my prac bench, I've got the two double PowerPoints and I've got the two mounting blocks. So the first thing I've got to do, I've got to figure out how I'm going to mount them and what I'm going to screw them up with. So it talks about a battery drill, which I have here. Now I've sourced this battery drill from one of these Makita boxes, and I sourced a Phillips head bit, which is this bit here, and that's over on the tray below the tools, hanging on the whiteboard there, on the right hand side, and that's a number 2 Phillips head bit. We use the rattle gun for this, and we'll explain how to use that in a minute in a bit more detail. Now I need to source my bugle head screws, which talks about in the prep. Phillips head screws it talks about. So the Phillips head screws, if I just zoom around there a little bit, the Phillips head screws are actually over on these bench here, and you can get it from this cabinet here, or you can get it from this cabinet. I'm going to use the 20mm ones, which is the top cabinet here. You're really cautious to treat this with care when you pull these apart, because you don't want to lose anything onto the ground. So basically I'm going to need 4 screws for each block, so I'll need a total of 8 screws. Just make sure, with duty of care in the workplace, that you actually close the lid before you go any further. Now, if I'm going to make it 400mm centres, what I also am going to need, a measuring tape. The measuring tapes are over with the tools over here. So I'll probably have to zoom around a little bit for that. So please excuse the back and forward a bit, but okay, I'll come back to there like that. And I'll come back to the measuring tapes. I'll get a measuring tape off the wall here. This is my measuring tape. So now I've got my measuring tape, I've got my battery drill with my vis in it, I've got my 2 power points and my 4.99 mounting blocks. Okay, I'm just going to have to get a pencil so I can label it. Just give me a sec. I'll just press pause for a sec. Okay, I've got my pencil. So this is how I want you to go about this task. We're going to mount these blocks on the timber blocks, which are just strictly under the black metal side of the bench, and we're going to mount them on this reusable timber block here. So the first thing I want us to do is to measure the centre of the block. So we've got plenty of room inside of us. Okay? So we measure that by kneeling down, measure our tape measure, we've got these at one edge, and I've worked out here that that's approximately 1600mm, give or take a mil or two. So I'm just going to halve that and mark that into the centre, making it 800mm. Now, we said before that we want to mount the 2 mounting blocks 400mm centres. Now, there's many ways to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to measure the centre of my first block. So I know the centre of that board there is 800mm. So I'm going to put my tape measure here back there again and go back 200mm, which makes it 600. And that's the centre of this first block. Now, if I just measure the block, and the block is approximately 121mm. If I halve that, that's basically 60.5. If I come 60.5, the 60.5 back to my left, that'll be the edge of the block, and I can put a label, that mark there, and I can just line my block up to the edge of that. Then I'll know that that will be the centre. When you put them on the wall, butt them hard up against the middle top, like so. Okay, so the first example will be, I'm going to use a battery drill. Now when you press the battery drill, I'll just pause this.